Hello, BenchWire gang. Welcome back to another video. Not a podcast episode, but we got a fun one. We're going to go predict the NFL season for you. We're going to have the division rankings from 1 to 4. Along with that, we're going to have the playoff rankings, number 1 seed, all the way down to the 7th seed to that wild card game. And last but certainly not least, we're going to predict the Super Bowl matchup. Who's going to come out of the AFC? Who's going to come out of the NFC? And who's going to win that Super Bowl game? That's what we want to know. That's why we watch the NFL. But I can't do this all by myself. I got to bring in my man, the co-host, Mr. Benchwire himself, Mr. Steven Amplo. How are we doing?
We're doing good, man. I'm looking at all these divisions, man, and I don't know. We'll see if I'm good. Am I pretty accurate, or am I going to be wrong? We'll find out. We'll reconvene at the end of the year, and we'll see how well we did. And all in all, I'm excited for this video, and let's get started.
Now it's time to go through our playoff rankings from 1 to 7. So let's start off with the NFC. I guess, how do you want to do it? 7 to 1 or 1 to 7?
Gotta do 7 to 1. You got to build up the hype.
7 to 1. We got to build up the hype. All right, like you said, I had the Commanders finishing 2 in the NFC East. I have them making it at number 7. They're going to make it into the wild card. Yes, They are. Yes, I have them over our Buccaneers, actually. Yes, I do. I think with the 4th place schedule, that they finished 4th in the NFC East, I think with that 4th place schedule, it can benefit them. So I got them 7. I got the Rams at 6. Remember, I had the Lions finishing 2nd in the NFC North, so that puts them at 5th. And then Falcons at 4, got the Packers at 3, got the Eagles at 2, and I got the Niners at 1.
All right. I think that's pretty good rankings, but don't see the Commanders making the playoffs there. But other than that, pretty good. So my 7 through 1. Give me 1 second. I got a cough. All right.
Bless you.
All right. So, number 7, I have the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears make the playoffs, man. I just love their roster, and I think, 3 teams are coming out of that division. Number 6, I have the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers are going to be good enough, and 3 teams will come out of that division. Number 5, I got the Philadelphia Eagles, because I have them finishing 2nd in the NFC East, and I think they are both better than the Packers and the Bears. Number 4, I have the Falcons. I think the Falcons will be really good, but they won't be better than these next 3 teams. Number 3, I have the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will be good enough to be the number 3 seed. Number 2, I have the Lions. I think the Lions will be really good this year. And number 1, I got the Niners. So that is how I have my NFC playoffs for the seeds.
I like it. We had the same number 4. We had the same number 1, but we had some varying opinions there, so I like it. Now for the AFC side of things. Do you want me to start again, or do you?
You can start again. That's
okay. Fine. All right. So number 7, I got the Bengals. Even though they finished 3rd in the AFC North, I think 3 teams make it. So number 7, I got the Bengals. Number 6, I got the Dolphins. I still think they'll make the team. I mean, make the team, make the playoffs. Number 5, I got the Browns. With their elite defense, finished 2nd in the AFC North, good enough there. Number 4, I got the New York Jets. Also, I think they'll win the AFC East, but they'll be number 4. Now it gets a little interesting. At number 3, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I think they'll finish 3rd. Number 2, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Believe it or not, number 1, I got the Houston Texans finishing 1st in the conference.
Okay. I like that a lot. And I'll tell you what. So number 7, I have the Bills. I think the Bills still make the playoffs this year, but they'll be the last seed in the playoffs for the AFC. All right. Number 6, I have the Bengals. I think the Bengals will be really good this year, but I don't think they'll be good enough to be a 5 seed. Number 5, I have the Chargers. So I think Jim Harbaugh will do really well
Really?
in his first year. All right. And then number 4, I have the Dolphins. I have them winning the division. Number 3, I have the Ravens. Number 2, I have the Chiefs. And number 1, I got the Texans as well. So I think the Texans will be the best team in the AFC this year.
I like it. I think we had the same top 3, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Good stuff there. Now it's time for the Super Bowl. Super Bowl predictions. We're going to give you the matchup and then who's going to win. Do you want me to go first? Because, or do you want to go
first? I'll go first.
Okay. All right,
I'll get it over with because mine might be a little far-fetched, but I think it's fun. I think there's a real possibility it could happen. So,
Okay.
yeah, when Super Bowl 59 happens here in February, who do I have coming out of the AFC? I have the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans do the unthinkable in the second year with C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans. They put together an all-star roster, and they find a way to get it done and go to the Super Bowl. Now, NFC, this might be a question mark for some people, but for me, I'm a really big believer in this team, and that is the Detroit Lions. I have the Detroit Lions going to the Super Bowl. Now, what do you think of that? Initial reaction?
Well, Texans versus Lions is interesting, and that's my Super Bowl also.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
I didn't have the Lions winning the North, but I had them running the table in the playoffs.
Okay. See?
I had them, yeah. So I had them at 5.
Think alike.
I think they beat the Falcons in Atlanta. Then I think they win their next matchup, and then I think they win again, and they're in.
Yeah. Like, I feel like their roster is really good enough to compete with this NFC division that's really weak, or this conference that's really weak. And I feel like they're one of the top dogs in the roster and can compete in the playoffs. And they were really close with beating the Niners last year. And I feel like another year, continuity, being consistent, staying healthy. Dan Campbell has turned this program around and this roster, and they all believe in him. I think they can easily be in the Super Bowl this year. So, do you want to talk about why you have them in the Super Bowl, and then we'll get to the winner?
I guess I'll talk about both teams. The Lions, you pretty much explained. They bought into Dan Campbell. Ben Johnson's still there. He did some great things, and I think the defense will start to play better as the season progresses. I think, like the rookie, like Terrion Arnold, I think he'll get better. So I just think there's going to be a little growing period with the Lions, especially on the defensive side of things, where the Packers will just edge them out in the regular season. But I think once the playoffs are rolling, they'll start clicking, and I think they'll run the table. And it's honestly something I would like to see. I think that would be fun. If it's not my Eagles making it, then I think it's the Lions. And I guess the reason why I didn't pick my Eagles is I'm not sure about that defense, to be honest with you. The defense is the only question mark, and I don't think that's a playoff or a championship level defense enough. So I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. But the Lions are coming out of the NFC for me. The AFC side, D'Amico Ryans proved he's a great coach, as long as Bobby Slowick. I love the offseason they had. Diggs is there. They made moves on defense, like I think Jerry Hughes, like all these great talent, man, on defense. They got Stanley there, just great talent. And then Stroud, he looked his playoff performance last year, that Cleveland game. I thought he looked poised. I thought he looked good. And then that Ravens game, he struggled a little bit, but that was a really good defense, and that was a good learning experience. That's what you need. And same with the Lions. That's a good learning experience. You're up on the Niners. I'm sure if you get that opportunity, you won't let that happen again. So I think last year's playoffs for both of them were building blocks, something they could learn from, something they can improve upon and do better. Like, I think they'll both make the Super Bowl. So that's my thoughts. I thought last year was just the start of something good for both teams.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Both of these teams have never won a Super Bowl. So we think a team that has never won a Super Bowl before will hoist up the Lombardi Trophy come February. So I like that we both
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it. Both of these programs have turned things around. They've been stinky for a lot of years, and now, they could go to the promised land and win the whole thing. So I like that we both, great minds think alike. And I like that we both had the same Super Bowl. That's crazy. We didn't even talk about it or discuss it. It just happened that way, which is awesome. But yeah, I'll say who my winner is. And
okay.
Yeah, so the winner of Super Bowl 59, I believe, will be the Detroit Lions. I think the Detroit Lions will give the Houston Texans a run for their money here. I feel like just them being together longer and, them having more games under their belt is a reason why I believe the Lions have the upper hand here. I think the experience matters a lot. Jared Goff's been through a lot. He's been through a Super Bowl. He's been to an NFC Championship game, has lost both. But I think, he'll go get over the hump here and beat a Houston Texans team that isn't really experienced. And I believe, it all matters through the trenches here. And I think the Lions have a better offensive line. And I believe having the better offense line, having a better running game, having that 1-2 punch with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery will give the Texans a run for their money here. And it's going to be hard to stop that offense. And then you got to deal with guys like Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I just think, all in all, the Lions, they've worked their way up to this moment. And I think they will hoist up that Lombardi Trophy come February. But, yeah, the Texans, I feel like it would be a close game. But, yeah, just the inexperience is going to hurt them a lot. And it's only their second year together with C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans and company. So I like, what they've done together so far. But I just don't know how long it will take them this year because of their experience and since they're so young. But I think the Lions will get the job done at the end of the day.
All valid points. But I guess we can't be in lockstep perfect on everything because I did pick the Texans. I did think about it. I was mulling over it a little bit, but I ended up going with the Houston Texans. Just comparing sides of the ball, like you said, Detroit, yeah, their offense is legit. Yeah, he made a good point. The Texans, DeMeco Ryans still have a tough time stopping them, no doubt. That's a tough matchup. But when it comes to how are the Lions going to stop C.J. Stroud? How are they going to stop Diggs, Nico, Tank Dell, along with Joe Mixon now coming out of the backfield? How are you going to stop them? And I feel like the playmakers, the players on the defensive side, go in favor of the Texans. So I feel like they could get a stop or two more that's crucial than what I believe Lions can, because I believe in the scheming and the play calling of DeMeco Ryans on the defensive more than doing Aaron Glenn of Detroit, to be completely honest with you. And even though Jared Goff's been to the Super Bowl before and Stroud hasn't, I have more confidence in C.J. Stroud. I think he's the better quarterback. I think he's poised. I think he played with great composure, makes the correct decisions, plays well under pressure, and I think the team feeds off of that. And there are times where, Jared Goff can play well in playoff games, but there's times where he gets rattled, he gets panicky, he may make a bad decision or two sometimes. So I just, coming from that standpoint, I'd rather take Stroud from the quarterback standpoint, and I'd rather have the defense. And I still believe defense still wins the championships. And if I'm going based off quarterback play and overall the better defense, obviously I'm going to take the Houston Texans. Even though both offenses are elite, I'm going to lean the quarterback and the defensive route.
Bring up good points with the Lions defense and the Texans defense. And yeah, they're great points. And let us know down in the comment section down below, who do you think will win that Super Bowl matchup if that was a Super Bowl matchup? Do you think it would be the Lions or would it be the Texans? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. and even think those two teams will make the playoffs. We would like to hear that as well. But yeah, what a jam-packed video we had today, right? Talked about every division, predicted every team, went 1 through 4. Then we laid out the playoff teams 1 through 7 on who's going to finish what seed. And then we finished out with the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59 predictions. Who do we think is going to win the Super Bowl? So let us know if you got any, predictions with yourself. Do you have a Super Bowl prediction? Do you have a division prediction? Did you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comment section down below. Any final thoughts before we end off this video today?
Yeah, jam-packed episode, but it's a lot of fun. Giving a really thorough, comprehensive breakdown of what we see, how we see the season shaking up. And yeah, it's just going to be really fun to compare it at the end of the season. Maybe I know one of us, we had some differing opinions, so one of us may do better than the other. We'll just have to see at the end of the year. But yeah, that Super Bowl matchup happens. That'll be pretty cool. I will say that.
That would be cool.
That would be dope. But yeah, like what Steve said, just comment down any predictions, any surprise takes, hot takes, whatever takes you have, and comment it down below. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's all we have for you guys today. And go follow our socials down below. We got a link tree with all that down in the description box down below. But yeah, we can end the video off there. Thank you guys for tuning in, and BenchWire
out, baby.